that's really important to do, or to speak to a see if you have a friend that knows a psychiatrist that is very reliable, and they themselves may know of schools that can help the parent also. But it sounds like it's a no-win situation in the way that the child is set up now, and so it's good that the parent went through with the diagnosis and now needs to take the next step and find a school where there's going to be teachers that are going to be on a smaller ratio to the percentage of how many children in a class, and who also specialize in helping children with learning challenges. And that parent should take the diagnosis and the evaluation, and once they find schools, then set up appointments to go in and see what they say and how the parent feels about the school and things of that nature.
So basically check out the schools. She should check out the independent schools in her area. And
the private schools.
Yeah, and talk to them about how they handle children with ADD and
the teaching
like
skills,
and
what are there behavioral modification programs, and things of that nature, and that will help the parent get on the right pavement, road for their child to do better.
Well, I think that's great that they've passed this law now that that gives parents the freedom to get their child educated in a way that they know will make a difference for the way that they learn, and to be reimbursed for these private school tuition fees. I think that's great. And there is resources to find out about that as well. Now, she's also saying that they've tried 5 different medications and none really helped a lot. They changed the diet and set some goals, and he seems to do well at home, but school is an issue, and I guess that would be the case of such the large group setting. So it looks like private school would be a good advantage for her son in this situation.
And also I'd want to say as a ray of hope that, how old is their son?
He's going into the 5th grade, she says.
Well, the brain chemistry changes, and between that and new medications coming out, and different psychiatrists that think of things that others don't, there can be number one, other comorbidities that are playing a role, not just ADD. There might be other things that need to be addressed. And also, there are different medicines and different combinations that one doctor may think of and the other psychiatrist may not. So you kind of have to shop around till you find someone that can come up with some type of combination that will help. And it's very important to have at least have 2 different opinions in terms of what's really going on with her son. It could be ADD, and it can be other issues as well. And to stay up on medications that are coming out or on a trial basis or that have been proven to be helpful in terms of stimulants or non-stimulants. And
yeah, because one size does not fit all in terms of treatment.
Right. And I recently came across a colleague who came up with a book that sounds very interesting, and it has to do with a PDR reference book that can help parents understand medications better. It's on Amazon, and I'll write the name of the book in a newsletter because I don't have it right in front of me right now. But it is to help parents understand medications better, and it's specifically for those who have kids that have such issues as this. A reference book. Yeah, and I wanted to say that I want to ask a few questions in terms of the people who are on today and see what they come up with, and they don't have to, they can just keep the answers to themselves, but let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, what number would you give yourself, and what number would you give your son or daughter in terms of self-esteem?
Mm-hmm.
And then another question would be, do you think that you and your husband or wife or significant other are using the same strategies when helping your son or daughter to cope most effectively? Or are you on two different pages? And are you giving, therefore, mixed messages in terms of what the expectations are and so on and so forth? And that needs to be looked at so there's less confusion for the child. And what interest do you have as a parent or that the other siblings have that could possibly be shared with your son or daughter? The whole goal for me as a coach and as a speaker is to help parents realize that the greatest aspect of having ADD is once they find something that is of interest to them and it then turns into a passion, that becomes the key to their whole life, and that will allow them to focus on the thing that they have a love for, and that will help lighten the other areas of their lives because they'll at least feel very good about themselves in one area. And that's what I want parents to do when I say, what are you doing to share your strengths with your child and how are you going about it? Because Albert Einstein's mother was a pianist, and she got Einstein very interested in music at a very early age, and he used, in between him figuring out a million equations for the theory of relativity, he relied on music, and that was something that was a real form of interest and love for him, and that's a model of parenting that I use when I give lectures or coach.
Yeah.
And does anybody else have any other questions or things that they're writing to you that you can see?
No, I don't have anything else. So I guess the most important thing you can offer for advice, or the most important thing is structure, I think, is sort of the message that we're getting is so to help your child know what's going to happen, and so they know the expectations of themselves, and it's easy for them to follow that. What is it that is just absolutely does not work for a child with ADD?
Giving the child too many choices, giving them too much leeway in terms of defining what's important to them and what needs to be addressed. Whether they don't have to do their homework, or they can do it whenever they want, or they really don't have to eat what's on their plate. They can ask for something else. Giving kids too much freedom when they need structure is a big no-no. And letting them decide, which kids to play with and which kids not to play with, if it may not be in their best interest, or to hang out with as teenagers. Too many choices, too many freedoms can be really confusing and can cause a downward spiral.
Yeah, for sure. The chatter's also saying that she finds her son does do much better at home. She says that when he goes to school, he's put in a situation where he gets bored and his mind just wanders, and that's probably why he does better at home. So I think a private school situation, my son is in a private school. I think he would sort of be lost in a public school situation because my son goes to a Montessori school, and they definitely, the teachers, I can't say enough about them, but they definitely find the way that the child learns, and they gear their teaching for each individual child.